VOA News via remote. I'm Diane Roberts. U.S. President Joe Biden has inspected a busy port of entry along the U.S.-Mexico border on his first trip to the region. His visit to El Paso in the U.S. state of Texas comes as Republicans try to blame him for the record numbers of migrants crossing into the country. In a sign of the deep political tensions over the immigration, Republican Governor Greg Abbott handed Biden a letter upon his arrival that said the chaos at the border was the direct result of the president's failure to enforce federal laws and claims the visit is for show.
It just so happens he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late. He needs to step up and take swift action, including reimbursing the state of Texas for the money that we spent, but providing more resources for the federal government to do its job. Also, this is for nothing but for show unless it begins to enforce the immigration laws already that exist in the United States of America.
Russia claims it's carried out a deadly attack on Ukrainian troops, but Kyiv denies anyone died. The AP's Mimi Montgomery reports.
The Russian Defense Ministry says its missiles hit two temporary bases housing more than 1,000 Ukrainian troops in Kramatorsk, killing 600 of them. A ministry spokesman says the strikes were retaliation for a recent Ukrainian attack in Makivka, which they claim left 89 Russian soldiers dead. However, Serhiy Sherivachi, a spokesperson for Ukraine's forces in the east, told the Associated Press that the Russian strikes on Kramatorsk damaged only civilian infrastructure and that the armed forces of Ukraine were not affected. The Donetsk Regional Administration confirms there were no casualties, but says 7 Russian missiles hit Kramatorsk and 2 more hit Konstantinika. Among damaged buildings were an educational house and an industrial facility. I'm Mimi Montgomery.
This is VOA News. Gunmen armed with AK-47 rifles have abducted more than 30 people from a train station in Nigeria's southern Edo state, the governor's office said on Sunday. Police said in a statement armed herdsmen had attacked as passengers waited on a train. Some people at the station were shot in the attack, police said, and the kidnappers took 32 people, though one had already escaped. 39 people were killed and more than 100 others injured when 2 buses crashed in a head-on collision overnight on an arterial road in Senegal's central Kaffrine region. President Macky Sall told reporters Sunday. Sall visited the crash site on the #1 national highway. Speaking to reporters, he corrected an earlier government statement that had put the number of dead at 40, citing a miscount at the morgue. The government has announced 3 days of national mourning beginning Monday, with flags to be flown at half-mast throughout the country. Ugandan police say at least 20 people have been killed and 49 others injured in a bus crash near the border of Uganda and Kenya. A Ugandan regional police spokesperson said Sunday that the bus was coming from the town of Mbale and it crashed Saturday night after crossing into Kenya on the way to Nairobi. A Kenyan police commander told local media the Kenya-registered bus lost control and veered off the road. The official said that most of the victims were Ugandans. The first orbital satellite to set off for space from Western Europe will be launched from Cornwall in southwest England on Monday. Virgin Orbit's CEO Dan Hart told a news conference Sunday they plan to use a modified Boeing 747 with a rocket attached under its wing for the first time outside the company's base in the United States. Here's more from Hart.
The space industry is worth around about £16.5 billion annually to the UK economy and employs 47,000 people, and that's growing. And we are absolutely fantastic at designing satellites and building satellites. You know, I always use the heuristic that we build more satellites here in the UK than anywhere outside of the US.
Australia's northwest is facing a 1 in 100-year flood crisis that has stranded many communities and prompted hundreds of evacuations, authorities said on Sunday. The crisis in the Kimberley, an area in Western Australia state about the size of California, was sparked last week by a severe weather system with a former tropical cyclone that brought heavy rain. The town of Fitzroy Crossing has been among the worst hit, with supplies having to be airlifted in due to flooded roads. Via remote, I'm Diane Roberts, VOA News.
Please subscribe, like, or comment. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, or subscribe.